We shall defend our island, whatever the cost may be. We shall fight on the beaches. We shall fight on the landing grounds. We shall fight in the fields and in the streets. We shall fight in the hills. We shall never surrender.
This week I have spent in the company of Tommy Robinson as an independent YouTuber to see what was going on. I actually wanted to see for myself if he was racist, because if he was, I was going to call it out, because I believe in being honest. He didn't actually once personally talk to me about anything else but the campaign. So I never got to hear any racism at all. However, when he was talking to other people, I did hear him tell tales about, when I say tales, stories about his life, about his friends, one of them in particular being a Pakistani Muslim. And when this guy passed on, who was one of Tommy's best mates, he couldn't go to his funeral, which broke his heart. But he did it out of respect. That's just one of many stories about how many friends that Tommy Robinson has from the Muslim community. I know it sounds hard to believe, but it's true. On our days out, shall we say, we were met mainly by well-wishers, people who said they wanted to vote, people who were looking for change, people who didn't like the European Union, and people who wanted Brexit, and it hadn't happened. So Tommy said, literally, I am going to be anti-establishment, I'm going to be against the European Union, and I'm going to go in there and try his best to get us out. But before he could go any further into his policies, along comes Hope Not Hate. And along comes some of the more aggravated of a certain element. All right, that's a community, which weren't representative, I'd like to add, of all the community. Just to clear that up, we've had some very, very good debates with some Muslims up there. Really, really good debates. Fair play, lads. So, the first day, we're out in, I can't remember, Salford. That went well. We met up with a few idiots, but generally 99.99% of it went very well. The next day, we went out and we bumped into the local idiots, but mainly it was all very good. And then we had a word that a certain community were coming down to fill us in. This happens a lot, by the way. Usually it's all hot air, but you do have to take precautions. Long story short, one of them comes along and throws a milkshake all over Tommy. Well, actually, that's not entirely true, actually, because I caught the main part of it. Hey-ho, goes with the territory. So we apprehended this guy, and the police, I believe, let him go. So that's the first day, and a few people coming up and just shouting slurs at racist scum, you know, the usual. Next day, this was yesterday, I got there late because there was nowhere to park. By the time I got there, I'd noticed there was a big demonstration, counter demonstration against us from, I don't know whether you'd call it Antifa, Hope Not Hate, or just the mentally ill. I'm not sure. Certainly you could smell them. But this is another thing. I do believe that things like Hope Not Hate, who usually say that we're fascists, racists, and all the rest of it, actually do the things that they accuse other people of doing. Because they want to close down your speech. Don't want you speaking at all. The line that I've come across lately is, get out of my town. Your town. Sorry, doesn't this city belong to many others? But anyway, that was one of it. And then there was this big guy, and he kept spitting at people, throwing accusations, slurs, shouting and screaming. And he bit through the finger of an assistant to Tommy. And basically the assistant let go, there was a kerfuffle, and I believe a fight broke out between him and some guy who had nothing to do with Tommy's group of people. And we don't actually know who he is, because as soon as he'd done it, he'd vanished. But he just, little guy, just clumped the guy. That was it, lights out. Now, I don't condone violence at all. And we've done our best to make sure that no violence actually happened. But regardless, there was one girl that he approached because she was saying racists need to be scared again. So we asked her about her ban, and then she started screeching at us that she was autistic and we weren't allowed to speak to her. He said, well, I'm simply asking you. Next thing, the waterworks came on. Then we said to her boyfriend, well, if she is autistic, why are you bringing her out to something like this? Surely it's not in her best interest. And then Tommy's debating with somebody else, and the autistic girl just punches him straight in the head. Because she's allowed to, because of reasons. Anyway, nothing happened there. Meanwhile, there's a Asian-looking guy, and he's already assaulted 2 women, to which the police officers weren't interested and vanished. And it just so happened that whilst trying to park the van, I seen them down a side street hanging out the way, not actually doing their job. This is Cheshire Police, not Manchester Police. Manchester Police were good. And then, after this guy's assaulted 2 women, Tommy's gone over to talk to him. And this guy didn't like what he was hearing, was losing the debate. And as you can see, horsed a milkshake all over Tommy, at which point things went a bit mad. Luckily, there was a bystander who grabbed the guy that did it, brought him to the floor, and then held him over the top, because there were a lot of people that didn't like him at this point. And so the guy protected him. I don't know who it was. However, the guy later on sent his Muslim friends down to see us. Big lads. And they were saying it wasn't fair what you did and it was an accident and rah-de-rah-de-rah. Have a look at this video.
Yes, bro.
Yes, G.
How are you, man?
Respect, BB1,
did you even get nicked?
Nah, bro.
Yeah, man. Everything's blessed, alhamdulillah,
Alhamdulillah, lana shukr.
Does that look like the actions of a person who felt guilty or worried or terrified about his actions? Because these people said he was terrified, he was in fear of his life, he was this, that and the other. Look at it again.
Yes, bro.
Yes, G.
How are you, man?
Respect, BB1,
did you even get nicked?
Nah, bro.
Yeah, man. Everything's blessed, alhamdulillah,
Alhamdulillah, lana shukr.
I feel we've been played for a bit of a div. Now, as I said, the local media said he slipped. There was no slip at all, right? So, we've literally been up against it. Now, as he's running for MEP, I do believe it's illegal to actually even throw a slur at him, let alone a milkshake. And has there been one single arrest? No. Now, put the shoe on the other foot. Had any of us done that, our feet wouldn't have touched the ground on the way to the gulag. It's annoying. Whether you like Tommy or not, whether you agree with his policies or not, he should be afforded the same treatment as Jeremy Corbyn, because I believe, didn't somebody throw an egg at Jeremy Corbyn and landed themselves in prison? And yet, these people are physically attacking Tommy, and yet getting nothing, walked off, and then get to boast about it later on social media. This is what we're up against at the moment. And if these people would just shut up long enough, you might actually be able to hear what he wishes to do should he win the election. You know, these things here, there's 2 of them and 1 of that. You smelly people who presume he's this, that and the other, if you listen to him and give it a chance, you might actually find that he's not what you've been told in the media. I'm just throwing it out there because it's getting a bit boring now. I've learnt more about the Quran this week should I say, than I've known about it ever. They've debated sentence after sentence whilst pulling up scripture and all the rest of it. We were up here to campaign for an MEP seat, not to define the finer points of the Quran and people's individual interpretations, because that's another thing. Well, my interpretation, yes, but your interpretation is different to this person's. That's all we debated. It's annoying. Hey ho, well, I wish him all the very best of luck, but some of the places he's going to, I worry for him, because there's some people out there with very bad intentions. So the very best of luck. Anyway, I've had to come home because I haven't seen my daughter in 2 weeks. So there you go. Anyway, thanks for watching, liking, sharing and subscribing. I am over on Telegram now, where I do tiny little videos with bits and bobs. There you are. Anyway, thanks a lot. I'll see you soon.